So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Robert, the Director of Business Development and Franchise Operations, part of the VF Franchise Consulting team based in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And I'll be your MC and host for our exciting event today. And today we're privileged to have some very distinguished guests join us all the way from the US. And we have a great program for the next 30 minutes or so to really talk about STEM-based education and why parents care so much about it. That also would include why investors should care about it. Now, I'd like to introduce our panelists today. So we have Mr. Chris Rigo, the CEO of Bricks for Kidz, and also actually a franchisee of the same company. We have Allison Vickers in franchise support, and we have Robin Ewing, Executive Director of Marketing and Technology with us. So, hi guys, thank you very much for joining us. I know that the time isn't very convenient there for you, so we really do appreciate you making some time to join me today. Now, before we begin the main part of our program, I'd like to briefly explain what we do at VF Franchise Consulting and let you know that as we have a full program, we won't have an open Q&A session at the end of this event, but we are happy to answer any of your questions by email or a follow-up one-on-one call with our team after the event. We will also be sending some information to everyone who registered for the webinar today, so please watch your email for it. Now, as you may already know, we at VF Franchise Consulting, we're franchise specialists in the Asian market. So our headquarters is here. We have offices around the region, and we basically cover the countries from the Middle East and the greater Asian territory. And we offer a lot of different services, but the two main things that we do, one is to help companies and brands prepare for and develop some sort of system like franchising, so that they can use that channel to expand their business. And the second one is our sales and marketing team, which is very active in finding qualified franchisees in our region for our international clients, most of which are in the food and beverage, retail, fitness, and most importantly, education industries. And so actually we're here today to talk a little bit about a specific segment in the education industry, some overall highlights and trends, and then we're going to talk a little bit about a worldwide brand leader in STEM-based education that is available in many countries around Asia. And with that, I think I'll turn things over to Chris and his team. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris Rigo, CEO of Creative Learning Corporation. I'm excited and glad to be here on this call. I know everyone wants to know what is STREAM and why do parents so much care about it. Let me tell you something. What is STREAM, right? STREAM education is an approach to teaching and learning that integrates science, technology, engineering, the arts, and maths as pathways to guide students' inquiry, discussions, and critical thinking. STEAM represents a shift from traditional education philosophy based on standardized test scores to a moderate ideal that focuses on valuing the learning process as much as the results. In essence, we dare our students to be wrong, to try multiple ideas, listen to alternative opinions, and create a knowledge base that is applicable to real life as opposed to simple an exam. So why do parents care so much about it? So parents are worried about their child's future. The future is moving towards clean energy, And also the future needs sustainable land and ocean. The future needs sustainable cities and highly resilient infrastructure. Every individual in the future would need access to clean water, sanitization, clean air, and the future would need better food security and development of medical or better medicine. Future would see interesting technologies like artificial intelligence, space travel, high-end self-driving cars, and much, much more. Parents also know that the future need a workforce that is smaller, more competitive, more productive, and are able to engage with unforeseen challenges. Parents know that the future would need individuals who are able to participate in public policies and are able to make a considerable impact. Now, parents know what traits the future would demand, and they know clearly that indulging their children in STEAM would equip them to meet those challenges, and thus parents care so much about it. I'll go ahead and give it to Robin to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Just a brief introduction. I'm the Director of Marketing and Technology for Creative Learning Corporation. I lead the company's marketing and sales efforts. This includes assessing and creating the company's sales workflow, marketing strategy, and then planning, coordinating, and directing all the marketing initiatives. With an extensive background and intuition for growing accessible and iconic brands, my skills have shown direct impact to continuously improve business performance. I've been with the educational industry for the past 20 years and with CLC for the past 9. And I've had the opportunity to work with a fantastic team of people throughout my journey with CLC. And I have extensive skilled background in all areas of education, engineering, and technology. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and take an overall industry outlook on some trends and insights that we'll have. So when evaluating and creating a vision for STEM education of the future, it is vital to understand the present. What are the challenges we face in current STEM education? What is working? And where are we falling short? What are our priorities now? And how can we shape them to strengthen our future? How can they work within our programming? And how can we innovate? At Bricks for Kids, yearly and quarterly reporting and analytical data is part of our strategy. And that's something that we share and extend to our entire franchisee network so that they can implement that at a local level. If you can go ahead and switch to the next slide, please. Rapid technology advancements and societal changes are our daily reality. While the future of work, the economy, and the society is uncertain, one thing is not: to maintain the nation's leadership in science and technology and programming for children, we must create an approach to science, technology, engineering, and math education that prepares and advances us for the future. To maximize the opportunity, we must consider the entire education ecosystem so that children of all backgrounds, race, ethnicity, gender, religion, and income levels can learn the wonders and possibilities of STEM and maintain the interest and passion throughout their lives. All learners at all stages of their educational pathways must have access to opportunities to choose STEM careers and contribute to the innovation of the economy. I'd like to share a couple of challenges and identify the actions as an example of how we tackle them. So one of the challenges is the access to high quality STEM education is uneven across the nation's geography and institutions. And an action that we've taken is we've created opportunities for all students to receive accessible and high quality STEM education. And we help them foster love and curiosity for science and mathematics from an early age. Another challenge is we need to help them understand how virtual distance learning environments affect cognitive and learning. And one of those actions is that learners at all levels, including graduate students, are not always located in the same physical space. And this trend is not only increasing. Virtual and distant learning present new opportunities and new challenges, and we've overcome that more so now than ever with COVID. At Bricks for Kids, we instill creativity, innovation, and a passion for STEM from an early age, and we maintain that engagement and enthusiasm throughout their entire lives. So doing so will unleash an innovative culture, teaching learners of all ages to take risks, be creative, and problem solve. So what I wanted to share here is a really important study that we had conducted. It's an educational research study that we had conducted by the Advanced Education Measurement, AEM, which is also known as Advanced Education Measurement. It designed a short test for each of the 5 groups based on B4K STEM worksheets. So the central question was, does Bricks for Kids students show growth in targeted maths and science skills? So we tested over 700 students at 7 participating locations nationwide in 5 groups: in school workshops, ages 6, 8, and 10, after school programs, grades K through 12 and 3 through 5. If students learned math and science skills during these programs, we expect their post-test scores to be higher. What results that we found is after school, Bricks for Kids students improved 9% on targeted skills, math and science. Is 9% a lot? That's the difference between a B and an A. If a student goes home from school from a B to an A, are the parents happy? And the results from our workshops, Bricks for Kids students improved 32%. So at the end of a 1-hour workshop session, Bricks for Kids students displayed a remarkable growth in understanding the targeted concepts. Bricks for Kids students in every age group improved on both program post-tests. This is only one of the many ways in which Bricks for Kids helps children learn and feel the sense of accomplishment. What I wanted to share here is it's a portion of the reporting from a large metric of reporting that we conducted. And what we could tell from here is that the screen time is a global problem. And there's still interest in puzzles and hands-on activities that pique interest in collaborative and exploratory play, yet a lack of outlets to explore. So on the next slide, we'll aim in supporting this data as well. So if we go ahead and switch to that next slide. This data supports that kids are interested in play that triggers their imagination in hands-on learning. You see here that, the outdoor sports and kids playing on the bicycles and play sets, that's still, that collaborative and hands-on learning is still top of mind for children. So having that within our program is really important. This data supports that Lego, the most popular toys amongst others out there. This is something we've known, and we continue to monitor any progression for players out there. The great thing about Lego is they combine the love of other programs such as Disney and other pop culture, Marvel, into their products and capitalize the love of those long-term. And that's something that we monitor as well, so that those trends extend through the innovation of our programming. And by seeing those trends, we're able to evaluate popular themes, pop culture units, and advance on our curriculum that we need to explore, expand upon throughout our seasonal trends. That's what I have there for us, Robert. I hope that was helpful for you.
Oh, that was a great brief industry overview. Robin, thank you very much. And thank you, Chris, for really telling us and helping people to understand what we mean when we use, that STEM or STEAM terminology. A lot of people don't understand what it is. And for me, even, I don't understand how important it is, but I think what you said made a lot of sense. There's definitely going to be a larger and larger need every single year for these skills as we move to, our future society. So maybe we could just talk about it for a couple of minutes. I have some questions that I'd like to ask you guys, if you wouldn't mind. You know, when people think of education industry, particularly franchising education, you know, they usually think of English and then math. And that's what comes to mind. Why really should investors consider STEM-based education grants?
Yeah, so using the US as an example, STEM powers the US economy. 67% of US jobs and 69% of the nation's gross domestic product are supported by STEM. So with direct STEM job opportunities accounting for 33% of the economy, additionally, STEM is the primary US economic driver and produces 2.3 trillion in federal tax revenue annually. Educational organizations such as ours have long been working together to lead new generations down the path to careers in these fields, such as designing targeted project-based programs that teach key skills towards both traditional and alternative STEM careers, and the critical skills students should learn to pursue each one. So jobs in science, technology, engineering, and math-related skills are the future, and the future of the economy, the future path to a child's success. Our goal would be to instill the love of learning of those STEM-based fields when they're young so that they continue on that track moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for answering that one. So I also think that it's great to do something that positively impacts, you know, young learners. And I think that's a great thing for any company or person to do. But we are, you know, talking about a business. Bricks for Kids is a business. You know, is STEM education profitable?
In a world marked by rapid growth and uncertainty, the most secure thing a student can do is pursue an education, especially one that focuses on science, technology, engineering, and math. The skills inherited from a STEM education are amongst the most sought out after the job market, in the job market. This means the companies are always on the lookout for talented individuals to fill open job opportunities. Based on the current growth of STEM careers, predictions indicate that these fields will continue their swift development. The hard and soft skills found in mathematics, problem solving, data analysis, and engineering will continue to be covered in fields of study like engineering, chemistry, and information technology. But these talents will also be sought after in professional fields that are unrelated to STEM. It enables students to seek out careers in wide ranges of industries like business communications and design. What we love about education industry right now is that it's the engine that powers the business forward, the educational component. What's nice about it is that all the other facets of the business help to drive additional revenue streams. So you can do birthday parties, summer camps, after school classes. You can do business B2B with team building. You can do all sorts of different things, but our engine is the educational components of offering those STEM-based educational programs. It's easier to keep a customer once you have a customer. So you get those customers in your door through an educational class, and then you offer them all of the additional programs. You give them the birthday parties, the summer camps. You work with their parents and offer a Bricks for Biz activity.
No, it sounds great. So it sounds like somebody can be very successful doing this. You know, this industry is not going to be very familiar to a lot of people who are listening today. So what, you know, are the key factors that, you know, would make it successful moving into a new market? What do you think?
You've got to be a good networker. You've got to be willing to look at your standard opportunities, which would be schools, public and private, community centers, churches, charity organizations, people in all types of organizations. You can look at different opportunities within a territory to make business opportunities and not just be stuck thinking that you need to do public schools K through third. Again, trying to build that business from being a young child into a longtime customer. That's what's really going to help build the business and make an impact in that territory. So starting out, I always encourage people to focus on those public and private schools, build a strong foundation, build a base, but being very customer focused and customer centric. So you really do a great job delivering the program to those students and you build those relationships with those parents. Because if you can do that within the community, then the good news travels fast, but bad news travels faster. So if you can deliver quality programming, which is what Bricks for Kids offers as a franchise, we give you all the tools you need to be successful. You get out there, you get involved in the community, you find the opportunities to offer the programs, and we have you on the backside with the best programs.
Oh, sounds great. So now if I did want to invest in Bricks for Kids and bring it to, my local market here, do I have to be in the education industry already? I mean, how complicated is it to get involved and start up with Bricks for Kids?
The great part is you don't have to. It's a sales and marketing business. Our most successful people in this business is someone that has business acumen, sales experience, and marketing experience. At the end of the day, you're selling a service to schools and community centers and churches that, just like I stated, all those different opportunities, you're selling them the opportunity to get their students and families involved. You want someone who has a good, solid business acumen. You want someone with an entrepreneurial spirit, and you want someone who's willing to get out there and hit the pavement and make those connections within the community. Because if they can make those connections and all those locations and set up schools and programs, then it becomes a marketing program of how do I get the word out that I have locations, that I have things to offer. It really does not require any sort of educational background. Now, if you do have an educational background, as long as that's coupled with business experience and a true entrepreneurial spirit, then you can make a difference. Our best business owners are not the owners that are teaching the classes on a day-to-day basis. If you want to grow exponentially, you have to figure out how to look at the bottom line, how to hire good teachers, hire educators to work for you to deliver the program. The business owner at the end of the day should be in sales and marketing. You need to analyze and figure out where you're making money and where you're not to be successful. So.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I think sometimes people, think that they have to have the technical skills in any particular business industry, but actually I agree with you 100%. It's really that business management to run the business and to hire the people with the technical skills. So I think that is good. Now,
Absolutely.
Whenever we talk about the education industry in the last year, really, the world situation was seriously impacted in this particular industry quite heavy. And how did that situation in 2020 and even at the beginning of 2021, affect the industry in general? And what do you think the outlook looks like for the end of this year and moving into 2023?
Yeah, so, in regard to COVID, we were impressively able to pivot into online classes. And by doing this, we created another revenue stream. We do know that the demand is there for in-person classes. We've seen it in the states that are open. We saw our strongest summer ever in some of our territories that were open without restrictions. Parents are ready to get back to living. You have to weigh benefits and risks. And what we did by pivoting was create another revenue stream that can allow us to grow bigger and deeper and service more kids, because sometimes you're not going to be able to service kids that are further out of your territory. But with the online version, we can offer programming to students in schools that are not within a certain geographical location and that can have access to our programs. So by pivoting, we were able, to actually create that additional revenue stream and the opportunity for growth and a much stronger 2022. And, Chris Rigo has been amazing during, the COVID pandemic for the franchisees. And I'd love for him to weigh in here and kind of talk a little bit about that.
Okay, let me add to Robin. So the education sector was the hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, with the impact felt by companies that provide STEAM-driven education and recreation programs at schools, brick and mortar places, and more. The pandemic presented an enormous financial challenge for us. Franchises, large and small, had to adapt to the change, to move resources, to start online classes, provide financial assistance, cut operational cost, and more. The revenue loss for the education industry was substantial for 2020 and will continue till the end of this year. We expect many franchise owners slowly getting back to business, shelling out money on contingency of COVID testing, personal protection equipment, sanitization, reduced number of kids in classes due to restrictions and social distancing. We need to understand our programs become indispensable now, especially post-COVID, because kids are coming back to school and to us with unfinished learning. The K to 12 students' learning was significantly impacted, leaving students on average 5 months behind in mathematics and 4 months behind in reading by the end of the school year. The crisis had an impact on not just academics, but also the broader health and well-being of students, with more than 35% of parents very or extremely concerned about their children's mental health. By the end of the year, I think more than 98% of students had access to some form of in-person learning, from the traditional 5 days a week to a hybrid model. So students faced multiple schedule changes, were assigned new teachers mid-year, and struggled with this glitchy internet connection and I think Zoom fatigue.
Yeah, I have to agree that I think here in Asia as well, we face the same thing. Some schools were closed for an entire year. A lot of them tried online learning, but I know my son was really not effective in teaching him at all in the online programs that the schools, tried to put together. So I think that you're right in the fact that there's, a huge gap in our current children. And I think that programs like yours can help them, accelerate and catch up to where they should have been if we wouldn't have had this problem. And it's nice to know that you expect some brighter future for next year. So that's great. So I'd like to thank all of you for that information. I think it really helped us understand better what these terms mean, a little bit more about the industry and the market. And as probably most of our listeners know, and as you guys have mentioned, you all work for Creative Learning Corp, which owns the Bricks for Kids brand. And so it's no wonder that you guys understand this topic so well. And speaking of Bricks for Kids, we have quite a few questions that our investors have asked us to ask you today. But why don't we first watch a short little video about Bricks for Kids so that everybody watching can kind of understand the concept a little bit better, and then we'll go in to discuss it in more detail. So if we can have the video, please.
This is where it starts when you're a young kid. I had always kind of admired companies like Tesla and SpaceX and been like, oh man, it would be awesome to work for those companies. And then looking at the jobs, I was like, oh, well, I barely passed math in high school, so I'm not gonna get that job. So when I looked at sort of an idea of using something fun and creative to educate kids about engineering and things that are related to those kinds of companies, I thought, okay, well, if I can't be the guy that would work for a company like SpaceX or Tesla, or can't be the guy that would start a company that does something really technologically innovative, maybe I can be the guy that helps push kids in the direction. Bricks for Kids is more than an after-school program. It's an education enrichment program where we use fun of Legos and the imagination that Legos gives to kids, and we allow them to explore their creativity their imaginations, their problem-solving abilities. We are working with probably the most reputable toy of all time, all in an environment where they don't realize that they're learning really great, interesting, hard concepts that relate to engineering and build the very base level cognitive skills that are going to allow them to explore, other fields like physics or robotics or architecture. This is something that's important. It is. And it's funny to say it about Legos because it's such a playful thing, but that's in fact why it's so important. I think the core message is that it's about the kids. Whenever you're in a difficult situation of you don't know what to do as a teacher, take a step back and realize what is going to benefit the kids right now the most. This is about you exploring your imagination. Be creative. It's like such a positive energy. When we're delivering a program well, and I'm walking in that community, I'm walking down the Beltline in Atlanta and I see a kid in a Bricks for Kids shirt, walking up to them, I know immediately when I talk about Bricks for Kids, they're gonna smile. And that's just like, I just feel like that's a really lucky position to be in as a business person.
Okay, so that video really should give everybody a better understanding about the concept. It was very interesting. And I think that, Robin, you have some additional information to share. So maybe we can have your presentation now.
Hey, Robert. Actually, this is Allison. I would like to take this one if you don't mind. Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Vickers. I've been in the educational field for over 20 years. The last 10 of those years have been as the Director of Franchise Support here at the corporate office of Bricks for Kids. I'm the first point of contact for all Bricks for Kids owners, and I'm also the lead on onboarding new franchisees, as well as training and support on our franchise management system. Here at Bricks for Kids, our slogan is, we learn and we build, we play with Lego bricks. Bricks for Kids is a STEAM-based educational franchise that offers programming to schools, communities, churches, and organizations. We have various streams of income depending on the programs that you want to focus on. Our programs provide a safe, relaxed learning environment where initiatives is inviting and self-expression is celebrated. Our specifically designed project kits and theme-based models provide kids with the opportunity to solve problems and develop an appreciation for how things work, all while having fun and socializing in a non-competitive atmosphere.
With more than 450 franchises in 36 countries, our programs have reached more than 1 million children through after-school programs, summer camps, in-school workshops, and birthday parties. We continue to grow these numbers substantially each year through our award-winning programs. Since 2009, the company, owned by Creative Learning Corporation, has experienced substantial growth from one location in St. Augustine, Florida, to more than 450 franchises in 36 countries. The global footprint has earned giant awards from Entrepreneur Magazine, including 4 years in categories for top global franchise, top children's franchise, top 50 home-based franchises, and most recently awarded for Best Product of 2021 for Parent Pick Awards. The world of Lego bricks has provided a solid foundation for teaching children about the concept of STEM, in addition to real life skills and to communication, collaboration, and creativity. Bricks for Kids believes learning should be fun, so we always make sure it is. Our Lego-based activities for kids run on the idea that every child can be a scientist or mathematician. Using Lego bricks, our classes, parties, and workshops explore real-world concepts related to physical science, engineering, and technology, giving kids a chance to understand the forces and design that power our world. In our expertly designed Lego STEM enrichment classes, kids gain knowledge of science and mathematics while developing problem-solving skills and collaborating with their peers. We also provide birthday parties, robotics, coding, summer camps with special events where creativity can flourish, Lego free play. Our Bricks for Kids methodology. We use Lego products to provide a fun, hands-on learning and building experience focused on STEM concepts. Bricks for Kids programs range on a fun to learning spectrum. The Bricks for Kids curriculum remains fun and fresh, incorporating themes that are kids' favorites, also while teaching concepts of STEM by utilizing proprietary STEM math and science lessons and worksheets. Our math and science STEM worksheets are aligned to Common Core standards for math and next generation science standards for science. Project-based learning allows students to acquire knowledge and skills to practice inquiry across multiple disciplines and to make meaningful connections across STEM disciplines, medicine, the social and behavioral sciences, and the humanities. Project-based learning often focuses on real-world problems that can have a significant social impact across society. A common thread among these innovators from K-12 to graduate school is the participation of their students in meaningful projects that require STEM concepts. This participation varied from projects in a single program course to capstone projects, the lifespan of the entire curriculum. Learning environments are student-centered, project-based, and personalized. We have two different types of models with Bricks for Kids. We work both on a mobile model, mobile-based, and on a creativity-based. So with a mobile model, we work across the United States and international scale to provide a mobile, low-cost, home-based business teaching opportunity to promote those STEM principles. Our team of passionate leaders strive to prepare every child to master the necessary skills to rapidly change in the world. So part of that mobile model is working, the advantages is you can work out of your home, resulting in those low overhead costs. No classes are held in the franchisee's home. You usually reach out to the private and elementary and middle schools, different organizations and communities to hold the classes. And within the mobile-based unit, it allows you to have a fast ramp up to begin those income streams within the next 30 days of startup. So mobile-based is a really good option for you if you're on a quick start and ready to get out there. And then on the next slide, we have our creativity centers. At Bricks for Kids, we first and foremost promote a mobile-based model. This model works very well domestically. The international market is quite different and the needs of the brick and mortar business. Our recommendation is to say you start your business by connecting with the public and private schools, the community centers, the churches, and children's activity centers in your community, and you partner together to offer the programs in those locations. And once you've gained a footing and a loyal following, the next step is to open that physical location. Internationally, many of our owners have found a combination of both the mobile business and a brick and mortar location works best in their given country. This is a decision we leave up to every individual owner. We allow freedom and flexibility in how you build your center with a few basic guidelines that would be followed. We provide everything you need to launch and run a successful business, and where you're able to replicate a system that includes extensive curriculum, teaching materials, training in all areas of the business, and a fantastic support network to help you grow it. So either whichever direction you decide to go with, the creativity center model or the mobile-based model, we're here to support you in either way. And that it's all on you, Robert.
Thank you very much. That was a great high-level introduction for Bricks for Kids. Learning these topics of math and science through Legos, I wish I would have known about this about 40 years ago. I used to love playing with Legos, and I still play with Legos with my 11-year-old today. And we have a fantastic time. It's one of the few things that we can do together. And he actually has enjoyed for many years.
You had no idea you could make a career out of it, and actually that could be your job, right?
No idea I could make a career out of it. No idea I could teach him science and technology and math and engineering, while we played together. So I think that's a fantastic just a fantastic model, whoever came up with that. I have some questions that I'm just dying to ask you guys. And I know that we have franchisees who want to hear the answers. So now we're going to speak and ask some questions specifically about Bricks for Kids, moving away from, STEM education in general. For many years, Bricks for Kids has been very successful in the US and many other markets. What do you think really attributes to that success?
Constant development of curriculum, taking a serious subject of STEM and making it fun. It's a hands-on learning, it's interactive, it's using the world's most popular toy, Lego bricks. It's a hook to get kids in the door because it's a Lego class. But what it is it provides an educational component. So parents and families and educators like it, but kids like it and are directed to it because it's their favorite toy. Even though the core of our business has always been Lego bricks and the world's most popular toy, and that's how we've been doing things, we also understand that we're trying to stay ahead of future trends. And we know that, and we do know that innovation in coding and AI are very important. So for us to capitalize and be able to continue that relationship, we want to not only be that provider in the K-5 space, but also expand in the older ages with AI and coding and other technology advances, so we're not just the one-stop shop for all sorts of programming that students and kids can use through kindergarten, but through high school. We get to be part of a team that's taken a core product for the past 10 years and added to it and changed. We still offer our core Lego programs, but now in order to keep up with the trends, which are always changing, you can feel confident in knowing that these changes will continue as the learning environment changes and the trends improve and change. We also have our CEO, Chris Frigo, who's in charge, who is a franchise owner, who understands the day-to-day operations and issues. Having him at the helm is a huge advantage for the franchise network and for the company and corporation. His ability to understand the nitty-gritty of the business puts us way ahead of advances, and that has been a huge advantage for the company.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you, Robin. I'm going to skip a question because I think we covered it quite well earlier about the challenges of this year and the future. I like this one. There are many education brands in the industry. How does Bricks for Kids stand apart? Let's address that one.
The combination of fun and education, that kids can come to learn math and technology, but they use in their everyday life. At Bricks for Kids, we use Lego products to provide fun, hands-on learning and building experience focused on STEM concepts. So how do we differ from different Lego programs? Bricks for Kids, we have our own proprietary project kits. These kits consist of specific Lego bricks and Technic elements in specific quantities that are specially stored. We offer a variety of programs from after-school enrichment to workshops, camps, coding, robotics, and more. The programs mentioned are year-round. They can be modified to fit particular needs in particular schools, institutions, community organizations. So it's very flexible to the localization needs in different countries and different states and different locations. The curriculum ranges on a fun to learning spectrum. This means that the programs are geared more towards creative free build, but involve an exciting pop culture theme models of activities. So our programs are more learning style intensive, but they offer a more educationally focused experience that incorporates the concept of STEM and architecture. Our programs also, and the curriculum incorporates concepts of STEM, as we talked a little bit about in our earlier discussions. We have 2 models and lessons per each unit that covers both math and science worksheets that correspond to Common Core and state standards, and also the next generation standards, which is really important as they each cover different topics of the educational industry. And yeah, so that's just some of those advantages that Bricks for Kids can offer that. So yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, definitely our local Lego stores don't do anything like all of that big list that you just mentioned. So, I think Bricks for Kids does really stand, apart. Anything else? It's kind of a related question, but somebody else asked, why should investors partner with you instead of, somebody else? You kind of covered it, but is there anything you'd like to add?
Staying on top of industry trends, we're able to continue to offer our core competencies, but also adding additional revenue streams. We don't charge more when we develop these programs. It's something we roll out to all of our franchisees so that they can provide these different types of programs. As an example, the online classes, when we pivoted this past pandemic, that was just something we extend that to the franchisees without any additional cost, and yet it's an additional revenue stream. So it's an investment, but we continue to invest in the backside to give you additional revenue streams and opportunities without charging you for that. So that's just one of the examples of why I would say it's better to partner with us here at Creative Learning Corporation.
Okay, sounds good. I have some questions that are more about the practical side. So let's say, I've decided that Bricks for Kids is the right brand for me, and I'm, looking about how to launch it in my local market. For those centers that you have, how big are those centers?
Well, the centers, you need to watch market trends and decide what the market demands for the location. Do you need a creativity center? What standard? I would go with our standard, which is 1,000 square foot creativity center, but we have guidelines and minimum requirements. We allow for freedom and flexibility in individual marketplaces. And it goes to what I said a little bit earlier in the conversation, is that's something that, we really need, you need to develop the need there and then see what market trends and demands are that you would establish. But the base is 1,000 square foot.
Okay, so that's about 95 to 100 square meters in most of Asia, so everybody knows. And I think, on top of being a center, it's also used to train the sub-franchisees and be storage for the mobile units and covers several functions as well. So I think that center is important, but it's nice that it's flexible, the size and the shape. So that makes it a little bit easier and less expensive to find the real estate. Now, what is
a center?
Go ahead.
And if I can add to that, Robert, a center allows you the ability to expand growth in revenue streams with your birthday parties, your kids' night out, and other programs. Where a mobile business, you can only run so many different programs mobily. A creativity center, you could run throughout the entire day and you can have drop-offs. So there is an increase in revenue expansion that you wouldn't have in a mobile business that you could do in a creativity center. So I think, international, it's been a huge interest level because of that reason, is to have that creativity center. So I just wanted to add that to you.
Sure, no, great. That's what we're here for. Nobody wants to hear me talk. What challenges am I going to face? So what is normally the biggest challenge for a new franchisee? They've signed, they've bought the franchise, they've paid, and I want to start to develop a new territory. What challenges am I going to face?
Staffing, I would say staffing, but that's any challenge that most companies have, that same issue. Your most important thing is the staff and get your key players in place. You want teachers, you want business people, you want a manager. Making a determination is key too. Are you going to do a creativity center or a mobile business? So yeah, staffing is, it's everywhere, but with us, it's always been an issue. So I think as long as you get that in place, then you're already ahead of the game.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. HR is definitely one of the key components to being successful. And so, and I'm sure there are other challenges as well to launching a new territory. So what kind of, startup support do you and your team, provide to new franchisees to kind of help them over that difficult, beginning start? And then a second question, I guess, is how do you support them on an ongoing basis?
Sure. Sorry. As a new Bricks for Kids franchise owner, you're going to be assigned a support representative that will work with you to onboard your new territory and set up the next steps in training and access to the system. You're going to have a dedicated support and training throughout your Bricks for Kids journey. The initial training will be conducted with different team members for operations, support, and marketing. And once your initial training is complete, we will provide follow-up and provide support resources for access for knowledge-based resources center, which will be the cornerstone for all of your business and training needs. The knowledge-based resource is always being updated and with new content and videos for our franchisees. You also have access to our brand marketing toolkit, which will be your go-to for all your marketing materials and assets, digital marketing needs. This content already is designed with element colors, logos, and assets to meet brand guidelines. In addition to these two outlets, you will have access to several other systems and resources to utilize for your business. Our franchise management system will be where you will run all of your programs and classes, and that you will work in daily to manage your programming. And we strive for a top level support, and you'll have access to that support at all stages of our relationships together with our franchisees.
Well, that sounds like a lot of support, which is good because I think some people are going to need it, including me. What are you? We've talked a lot about what investor or franchisee wants, and what about what do you guys want? What would you say are the top 3 to 5 criteria that you're looking for in a new franchisee?
Sure. Our ideal franchisee would have an entrepreneurial spirit, a business acumen, someone with strong sales, operations, and marketing experience, as well as a real honest desire to make a difference in the life of a child.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad that you included that last one because I think in education, it's important. I think people need to have that philosophy of wanting to make a positive difference because that makes you happy in what you're doing as well. So it is a business, but it's also, education and making a difference to children, which is very important to all of us. And it doesn't matter where you live, whether it's in the US or over here in Asia. Actually, maybe even more over here because family is very important. They really are very concerned about making sure that they give their children every possible tool to be successful. So I think that Bricks for Kids is going to work very well in the Asian market. Now, I understand that with your business model, you are looking for master franchisees. And with these mobile units and stuff, it's a bit unique. So, and it allows people to really get in at quite a reasonable budget. Can you basically explain how your master franchise model works?
Sure. So the reason that we have master franchisees is to have someone who controls the brand from the top down that's familiar with the market and the area. It's a larger investment from a master franchisees as they're going to be reviewing potential sub-franchisees throughout their country or development area to make sure they are choosing good partners and that they're going to bring brand loyalty. They'll also need providing the support to their subs, so they will want to make sure that they have good line of communication with these potential sub-franchisees. Master franchisees have the freedom and flexibility within parameters to set the size and pricing of the territories since no one knows the market better than they do. And at the end of the day, it's all about giving the master freedom, flexibility, and the choice to grow in their area.
Perfect. And I think that makes it easier because people can take a larger territory and really focus where they're strong or where their team is strong and then sub-franchise the rest of the territory. And that also helps you guys to have one single point of contact, for a much larger space. Now, of course, we always get a lot of questions about, fees and royalties and different things. And I know that we can't answer a lot of those specific questions. That's something that, if you have those questions, we'd be happy to discuss on a one-on-one call once we know who you are, we know what your territory looks like. But, maybe, Chris, is there anything that you can tell people that's maybe general or very high level about what the fees and royalties and different things for Bricks for Kids looks like?
Yeah, sure. The franchise sale and royalty fees mostly will depend on the size of the country, the size of the territory that they are purchasing, and I think will range between the 20,000 to the 500,000. The monthly royalty fees again depends upon the size of that territory and also the place or the country they are in. Will be between the $300 to the $1,000 a month.
Okay, so I think that's fairly reasonable and pretty standard for most franchising business. So no real surprises there. And I understand that you also don't charge any marketing fees either, so that all that marketing support that you guys provide, comes free of charge. Of course, the franchisee is going to do their local marketing in their own territories. We're almost out of time. We've been here for quite a while. Just to maybe two more questions. What can you share about the future roadmap for Bricks for Kids?
Okay, future roadmap. So we are here because of our strong and dedicated franchise owners that we have, right? We will continue to collaborate, support, communicate, train, and provide all the required tools and resources to make every franchise owner successful. We want to continue to increase our brand awareness and grow our business in new territories. We know that online learning has gained a lot of momentum. We will continue to develop, deliver, and partner with companies to offer the best in class online STEM education program. We also would want to focus on also delivering and developing new coding programs that will teach kids of all ages to learn coding concepts through self-paced learning as well as small group classes. We acquired Bricks for Kids most recently in July, and we plan to develop and deliver more like an in-school STEM curriculum mapped to their grades. We're also exploring partnering or acquiring companies, right, that will add value to our existing offerings. And that would also result in increased revenue for our franchise owners.
Well, that sounds great. I'm glad that you guys have, goals and that you're moving forward and you're expanding the business. That's a very good sign for any potential franchisee, to partner up with a franchisor like Bricks for Kids, that has that long-term vision, that is constantly innovating themselves and looking at market trends, and making those adjustments so that the franchisee owners in every market, continue to be leaders in this field. One challenging question, which somebody asked, and I think it's a good one. Bricks for Kids is all about group activities. Is it really going to work in 2022?
Okay, I'll take that. See, parents and students agree online learning, Zoom classes are workable, right? But it's just not the same as an in-person learning. B4K is about group activities, and we will continue to run our camps and school programs in a group to keep the student focused, engaged, and let them have fun by following CDC guidelines like small group classes, wearing masks during classes, maintaining social distance, sanitizing, and providing individual kits. So we have done this for this year. Many franchise owners this year have been very successful providing on-site summer camps following these same COVID restrictions. And with many schools now open, they have also started to offer after-school classes, field trips, and birthday parties with these same COVID restrictions. We expect to continue our group activities with these restrictions in place till we are eventually done with the pandemic.
Okay, well, that's great to know that you guys can still function. I agree, online is not as good as in person. So we're all excited to get back to person, those types of group activities. And I think that it's nice to know that franchisees can continue the business online when they need to. They can continue some of those revenue streams. But of course, the focus is going to be to get back into the classroom, into group activities. And it's nice to know that you have all those standards now on keeping everyone safe, while you do so. On behalf of the VF Franchise Consulting team, all of our listeners, we would really like to thank you, Chris, Robin, and Allison from Creative Learning for joining us today and sharing some great information about Bricks for Kids. Due to the attendees being from a lot of different countries, we didn't cover specific fees, but for those of you who have specific questions about various markets, we will be sending out some information for everyone who registered to attend this webinar. Please look for it, and please feel free to ask us any questions that you want. If you tell us what territory you're looking at, what your goal is, a little bit about your company, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And for those of you who want to proceed to the next step, if you find a good match with Bricks for Kids, we will collect some more information, a non-disclosure agreement, and we'll put you in touch with our wonderful team at Creative Learning Corporation and basically walk you through that whole process of going forward. Thank you guys all for very much information. Chris, is there any final thing that you'd like to say before I say goodbye to everybody?
Yeah, I'd like to conclude by saying that we are the largest providers of STEM-based education programs around the world, and we have over 400 plus franchisees in over 40 countries, and we have reached over 1 million children through our various programs. The global pandemic forced us to make creative changes in many different areas in order to survive. At Bricks for Kids, the parent, students, and franchise owners is at the center of everything we do. And we continue to innovate to bring the best STEM curriculum to enrich our students' life and to empower them to do great things to become innovators for tomorrow. At Bricks for Kids, our mission has always been empowering today's students to become tomorrow's innovators. And at Bricks for Kids, we embrace breakthrough innovation and have the courage to make bold and quick changes. Every time we have done this, we have come out stronger and more capable. And I have never been more confident of the future of Bricks for Kids than I am today. We always draw strength from our global community because we truly believe when we all work together, we can change the world for the better.
That was
And
perfect.
that's
That was a perfect conclusion. So thank you very much. I think that was a great summary and nice to know that kind of vision of Bricks for Kids. So again, thank you three for joining us. Thank everybody for attending. And this concludes our webinar for today. So everybody have a great day, stay safe, and join us for another VF Franchise Consulting video in the future.
Thank you for joining, everyone. Take care and stay safe.